cancer. We'd love for you to share with the group what you've gone through as well, and coming from Baltimore Fire. You know, what do you think some of those misconceptions are about esophageal cancer?
Thank you. Hello everybody, I'm Steve Dorsey. I'm a pump operator, Baltimore City Fire Department, 21 years. First, Scott, 10 runs a day. Go on, you gotta pump them numbers up. I did serve for about 12 years at Engine 33 in Baltimore City, which at the time was the busiest engine company, and we're doing about 5,600 runs a year. So yeah, pretty crazy stuff. So here's my story. January this past year, similar to other stories, started having some difficulty swallowing. Pretty benign at first, just kind of like, well, that didn't go down right, kind of thing. But over the course of the next coming 2-3 weeks, got progressively worse, to the point where I just couldn't swallow solid food. So I was pretty much sustaining myself on short drinks and the SpaghettiOs, tomato soup, and spaghetti milkshakes, which I love, but one was I tired of them after a while. So once I kind of realized that, similar to the other stories, oh, this will be fine, this will go away, this is nothing, that it wasn't nothing, something was going on. Contacted my family doctor, made an appointment, of course, that, a couple of weeks out. So finally got in with the family doctor, talked about it. Both kind of agreed that this is probably something, small in nature, due to my age and overall health. But she did set me up the next day for a barium swallow study. So went in and did that. And within the first 2 minutes of the test, the radiologist stopped the test and kind of left the room for about 10-15 minutes, kind of leaving me in limbo. And what I didn't know at the time was actually calling my family doctor to get orders to send me over to a CT scan. But still, I'm in there wondering what's going on. And he came back and said, we want to send you for a CT scan. And, is there anything wrong? Well, I'm seeing something, but I'm not really sure what it is. He did. Good news is CT scan's right next door where I was, went over there. And later today on my chart, before the doctor even contacted me, he saw the news that I had esophageal cancer with metastases, lymph nodes, and liver. So, of course, that progressed to getting endoscopy, where pretty much my esophagus was pretty much completely occluded, and the eventual meeting with an oncology, and the news that it had metastasized, 2 pretty large tumors in the liver, multiple lesions, 7 lymph nodes affected, and so forth. So, similar to other stories, was basically told, this is palliative in nature, and start getting your affairs in order, and we'll start treatments and it'll give you a lot of comfort and some more time. So far to date, I've had 17 FOLFOX chemo treatments and also immunotherapy with Herceptin. The good news is that I have a scan coming up here in a couple weeks, and we're optimistic that I will be NED, or no evidence of disease, after this next scan. The treatments have been very successful in my case, but I also know that I have a long road ahead of me. So my story goes on that, of course, you get the diagnosis, and the first several weeks of it, you're just in complete horror of what's happening. But me and the wife, my wife Jennifer here, I'm lucky to have her with me today, and she's been the greatest part of this entire journey. But the first 3-4 weeks were horrible, as you can imagine. You go through all the 12 stages of grief, you can't believe what happened, and then you're angry, and everything. And of course, this is happening in February and March when it's cold outside. You don't want to go outside doing things, so you just sit in the recliner and just woe beat me for the entire time. At some point, I just kind of said, I've got to change things up here. And I decided to try to make some good out of this. So the first thing I started doing was educating myself. And I was aghast when I found out about the cancer statistics within the firefighter community, and especially esophageal cancer with that 62% number. That is just mind-boggling. And that we just don't hear about it in the firefighter community. The other thing that I was angry about hearing was that there was indeed a pre-cancer test that could have been given to spot this years earlier that I had a problem. Unaware of it. Now I will tell you, Baltimore City, and I'm sure this is true for a lot of big city urban departments, offer us nothing. We don't have annual physicals, we don't get any type of heart and lung scans, and there are absolutely no cancer scans whatsoever. Union banks their head, every year during negotiations and trying to get some kind of cancer scans to us. There's nothing available. The union occasionally does offer us some type of whole body scan. They fund some of it, we have to pay out of pocket for the rest. So a lot of people just don't do it. So again, I was just angry to find out that there was a pre-cancer screening for esophageal cancer and that it wasn't available to me. So I made it an effort to then start reaching out and spreading awareness and prevention of cancer, specifically esophageal cancer, to my coworkers, not only within Baltimore City, but the extended family in the area I live in, to other jurisdictions, and going in and meeting with them in union meetings and talking about the cancer statistics and about pre-cancer screenings, about EsoGuard specifically. And I've been fortunate enough to go through EsoGuard to interview and have my story posted in the New York Post, People Magazine. I've done a podcast with Paul Conway Shields. He has a podcast on YouTube you can watch. And yeah, it's been quite the journey. And I've just kind of made that my mission to really spread the awareness and prevention of esophageal cancer. I want to do more, and especially preaching the ethic of, we are our worst enemy in the fire service. First thing we do is we ignore all the signs and symptoms that something's wrong, or hard-headed, and we know we're all like that. The other thing is just the bad habits. We talked about it, I know, all this morning, but we all know that having dirty turnout gear is a badge of honor. Who's got the dirtiest helmet, the dirtiest gear? If you've got clean gear, you're a wuss, and you don't fight in fire. Being 21 years in the service, of course, come from a time where there was no diesel maintenance systems in the firehouse, and at one time, at the beginning of my career, they actually put in the climate vents, but the city purchased no maintenance contract to go with those. So as they just fell into disrepair, we just took the big yellow hose and just threw it up in the rafters, and there it stayed for basically the next 19 years. We had no diesel maintenance systems in the firehouse at all for about 19 years. Just in this past year, we finally put a new system in. You were also an engineer, and something that we might find, maybe engineers and pump operators are maybe more exposed, because I operate the pump panel, sure, outside the building, but I'm not wearing an SCBA, I'm just sucking in all that smoke. The guys inside, they got their SCBAs on and they're protected, but I'm outside there in that tire fire event, breathing the carcinogens. So we might find that maybe engineers are, more exposed. But yeah, so I've really made it my mission to really spread the awareness, and I'm really trying to, especially the young guys coming in, ignore the bad habits, ignore the peer pressure. One big thing in Baltimore City is car fires. You don't see guys wearing their SCBAs for car fires, and it's, don't wear that, you don't need that. And it's just, we're our own worst enemy with that type of stuff. I think we're getting better. I know we're getting better. I only had one set of gear I came to the fire service. You had a fire, you came back, you couldn't even wash it because you couldn't get it wet. What if you got another fire? You're going to steam yourself. So you just put it back on the wagon and you just wore it. There was no laundry in the turnout gear. And it wasn't until about 7 or 8 years ago that we actually got a second set of gear. And now we send the gear out for monthly laundry, and then you can set it out anytime after the fire. So things are getting better. We've got a long road to go. And just, one thing I can just say is, don't be a hardhead. Go to your family doctor. Get a yearly physical from your family doctor. Get the yearly physical if they offer it in your department. Don't ignore the signs and symptoms. And if you see one of your coworkers doing something stupid, say something to them. Let's make being smart about our health normal instead of being dumb about our health.
Thank you. And just, again, when you talk about your story and what we can do, and it's see something, say something, right? And protect each other, because so often, you're not protecting yourself, so thank you. So, also, I know Phil had mentioned